see if we're going. There we go. We are live. Everybody, welcome to Whiskey Thursday. Today, special guests. We've got CEO here of PowerISA with us, Gustavo. Honestly, Gus, I'm sorry. I haven't even. I just call you by Gus every time we talk. I don't even know your last name.
Yeah. No, it's usually a little bit hard to pronounce. You know, Munoz Castro, but I go by Gus. Makes it easy for everybody.
So Gus Castro.
Well, Munoz, both are my last names, right?
Cool. Yeah.
Welcome to the Latin last name. So Munoz Castro is my mom would get mad if I don't put the Munoz and Castro.
Munoz Castro. Okay, good stuff. Well, Gus, welcome to Whiskey Thursday. Of course, with us, Mr. Matt Kramer tonight. And
what's up?
Yeah, woohoo! While Matt's doing his thing, we're really excited here to Gus to have you here on the show. We've got a lot of cool stuff tonight to talk about. Your services, what we've been doing with you, what you've been doing with other marketers. Gus, for anybody that's joining as well, Gus is part of our private group, our student program. So he's been part of that. He's going to talk a little bit about that and how that's been for him as a vendor, which is kind of interesting because you're one of the first vendors that jumped into the program to learn more about working with real estate agents and building up this new service that we're going to talk about tonight. So that's really exciting here. And then Matt's got a ton of announcements he wants to talk about tonight. Right?
Do I?
Very cool.
I don't know.
Do I?
Put you on the spot there. Come on.
Come up with something. Whenever you do that, we just announce something. We're giving it away. No. Guess we're giving it away.
And I hope, for people that are watching or that tune in every Thursday and stuff like that, just a reminder that Amanda, who puts together, she works for us as well, or with us. She puts together the posts, and she typically, she's on top of everything, right? Post goes up, she says 8 p.m., and then we're the ones that drop the ball all the time. So if you're sitting around waiting for Whiskey Thursday, it's either Matt that's running late or me that's running late tonight. It was my fault. So it's 8-ish, sometimes 8:30 or so. Near eight. So just hang around the group and wait for the spam from Matt here. He'll notify you. There we go. Thank you, Matt.
There we go.
But part of the delay tonight was a quick meeting that I had that I've been trying to get on for a while. But my second delay was finding out that I was out of booze tonight. And
is that what it was?
Yeah, it's exactly what it was. And I don't typically drink beer, but that's what I have tonight, some Coronas.
There you go.
Yeah, I don't like it. And then the other thing was a bottle opener. We don't own a bottle opener.
You don't own a bottle opener. Okay.
Because they're all twists, Shane, right?
Yeah, they're all twists. I don't know where my wife's put the bottle opener. I know we have an emergency one somewhere in our luggage because when we travel, it's always nice to get bottle opener is kind of one of those things you should be traveling with, just in case. But I don't know about you guys, but I have this special toolbox in my garage which has all these random things in it that my wife doesn't know about, so she can't hide them. And one of them just
That's a great idea.
That is a great idea.
So yeah, I've got scissors in there. I've got an old set of knives in there. I've got a bunch of different things. But yeah, bottle opener is one of one.
There we go. Nice.
There you go. Yeah, I say you don't have. Do they have Canadian pocket knives? Is that a thing?
Yeah, this is it.
That's the nicest bottle opener.
It's a Canadian Army knife. There we go.
Yeah, this tiny little thing. I don't even think it cuts anything. But anyways, yeah, so this is kind of useful. So yeah, I can open up my beer and cheers, guys.
Cool. Well, spam is on the way. So if you guys are watching live, hashtag live in the comments below. If you're watching the replay, hashtag replay in the comments below. And let us know if you're watching right now, are you currently using an ISA service or not? And if you don't know what an ISA is, it is an inside sales agent. So somebody who's going to be making phone calls on your behalf. And we've got a whole bunch of stuff to talk about. One of the things, Gus, how familiar are you with obviously all the legalities behind ISAs? Because I think that's a question we see all the time in the group.
Yeah.
I should have warned you. Here's what we're going to bring up is the big one.
I should do. Let me talk to my lawyer first, right?
Right.
Can I plead the Fifth Amendment? No. Can I do that?
Yeah, no.
Maybe not. No. So I actually have taken the deep dive a few times. And one of the challenges in the U.S. and I don't know if Canada is the same. is that every state has its own kind of take on this, right? So, for example, the state where we started the company, Washington State, you can have an unlicensed assistant do telemarketing for you, right? Which was awesome, because that's where we started the company, and that's where we had like a bunch of our first clients, and we little by little realized that every state kind of handles this differently, right? Unlicensed assistants, which is what we are in real estate terms, unlicensed assistants, can do phone calls, for in some states, but they can't book appointments in some states, right? Texas is a big one where you can make all kinds of calls, but appointment booking not so good. So a lot of the times when we work with clients in Texas, we would do like a survey format. Hey, can we ask a few questions, right? About are you thinking of buying a home? Are you thinking of this, that, and that? Okay, great. Thank you so much for your time, sir. And we're kind of done, right? So we've had to do a lot of creative things on that's on the licensing, restriction, right? That's one.
Yeah, that's kind of what I meant. Not the legalities behind it, but like the licensing restrictions, because there's so many ways around it, right? And everybody's always so nervous about it, about this or that or the other thing. Like investors do this stuff all the time, right? And they don't have licenses because they're not licensed to be investors. You don't have to be.
Correct. Right. Now, I think this specifically affects in the areas where it's really strict. It affects real estate professionals, right?
Yeah.
Real estate professionals, that it limits what real estate professionals can do, which is, you can argue about it. I go, it's kind of, I've never thought I don't think it's really to protect the consumer, right? It's like, hey, or protect the professional, right? To kind of limit what they can do. But yeah, where it exists.
They love limiting what we can do as a real estate agent.
Yeah,
Thank
absolutely.
you, NAR, for nothing.
Yeah, absolutely. So, it's always about, making a plan and kind of seeing and knowing what those local rules are. For example, even in Canada, is it province by province, Shane? I mean, every province has its own kind of set of rules.
Yeah, I mean, you have some rules governing, the country, and then some rules province by province.
Okay. So, so it's really important for the agents to understand what some of those rules are, because as a company like ours, or even some of the agencies, you can't claim to be an expert in their local rules, right? The local legislation. So we always want to make sure, hey, this is what we do. This is our role. This is what we typically want to do. If this does not jive with your local rule and regulation, let's talk about that and let's make a plan. But we're really upfront with this is what we do, is what we're doing. We're not licensed real estate agents. What the folks in our call center, and sometimes folks, at least once a week, someone will ask me, hey, do you have people that are licensed in Montana? And I have to tell them, we don't, right? We don't. And if Montana has a really restrictive policy for that, we either need to come up with a strategy to get around it, or you need to find another company that offers that. So we're really, really upfront about it. And we've been able to work in almost, I can't really think of an area where we didn't work because it was a licensing restriction. We either worked around it or we offered a different kind of service.
Yeah, I don't know any companies that for real have, like, unless they're based in Montana, right? They for real have licensed people in these different areas. It just doesn't happen.
Correct.
Right? Like some of them will even say they do. And then you go out there and it's like, they don't have anybody licensed in that. Like they have a broker that is involved, but the person that's not on the phone is not licensed in that state.
And actually,
99% of the time.
I wonder how this carries over into text messaging or emailing, right? Does that, if you're on text message, are you have to be licensed, unlicensed? How does that kind of work? And even for the licensed assistants, right? Like some of them, or you have an unlicensed assistant, can they set appointments with vendors? Does that count? Does that not count? Does that count as prospecting or not? So there's a lot of details that go into this, and I can talk about it all day if you want.
Yeah.
But we've had
I'd rather not.
We definitely I know rather not. We run into, and again, we make thousands of calls a day. We're for hundreds of clients across the U.S. and Canada. Never once has that really become an issue. What has become an issue, and it can be a big legal jeopardy, is like the do not call list, for example, right? Or texting people without consent, right? So those things are a legal landmine. The licensing thing, I'm sure, again, I don't want to speak too broadly. I'm sure it can be an issue somewhere. It just hasn't been an issue for us, making thousands of calls with hundreds of agents. And at this point, through our company, we've hired hundreds of ISAs as well at this point, right? We've been around since 2015, and we have 50 right down the room. But as you guys know, you go through a lot of people, right? So
yeah, you do.
Throughout all these people, throughout all these calls, the real risk that people need to take care of is not calling people on do not call list, and not calling people, unsolicited calls when you can't do it. Like in the US, is very tough on text messaging, for example.
That's awesome. So hey, before we get into all this kind of stuff, let's talk about Gus and his company and all that stuff, because I think we jumped into something.
I thought you said we could just start barraging him with questions. Like,
yeah,
That was a good one. I
let's
was expecting this is gonna be like a softball interview. Have you ever
give
been
him
sued?
Giving him a well, I knew this kind of call. This is what it's going to turn into. It's going to be the Matt and Gus show, because
There we go.
Matt's for anybody that's watching, and Gus, I think you're familiar with Matt's background. He's got a little bit of love-hate relationship with this whole ISA follow-up call thing.
There we go. No, as part of the process of working with you guys, I got to see a lot of the stuff that Matt did to help, manage his team, right?
Yeah.
At the end of the day, I'm doing right now, Matt, what you used to do, right? Manage a massive amount of callers, that are making calls every day. What calls are they making? Are the calls effective, or are they not effective? Is it the person? Is it the script? Is it the list? Right? So that's all day, every day for us, right? So I have empathy for what you used to do, because it's a tough job. It's definitely a tough job.
Let's get into. Why don't you give us a bit of an introduction on your company, where you're at now, what you're doing. So CEO PowerISA, obviously you're running the show over there. You're the boss, the guy that's making decisions, and which is really cool, because we're going to talk about a new program that you've put together that's a special program for members of the REMCM group here, which is really cool, as well as another little bit of a bonus for people that are part of the student program, which is also very cool. And but before we get into that, really quickly, just want to say hi to some of the people here that have taken the time and typed in and chimed into this live here. So Elaine is here. Scott, good to see you. Pat, nice to see you. We've got Jake Emiliano listening live from Houston. Travis actually got a quick question here. How are you getting text consent? Is that implies with Facebook lead ads with phone numbers, or does that imply with? Is that implies with Facebook lead ad with phone number?
Do they want the legal answer, or do they want the summarized answer? You can and should put some kind of disclosure on the like the thank you page. That's the easy solution, and you can put that kind of anywhere. You have to put it somewhere though, right? That is that's possible, and then they can stop it whenever they want, right? I think that's how we, and actually I got into this because I actually set out through let me start with Shane's question, because I can go on tangents all night. Let me start, and we'll get to that. We'll get to Travis's question on what the best way to do that is. So myself, Gustavo, originally from Mexico. I ended up in the US as a software engineer working for Microsoft. I did that for about 10 years, realized that wasn't what I wanted to do, and my wife got into real estate over in the US, and I thought that was awesome. I got licensed in 2010, and they started doing it on the side, and I left Microsoft in 2013 because it was calling me, right? I was more excited about my real estate deals and real estate marketing and real estate technology than I was about my day job, right? At my kind of building Microsoft Office, and Microsoft Windows. So I jumped in licensed went full time in 2013, and
sorry, let's go back. Were you part of the Microsoft Office platform and some of their other products?
Yeah, my mostly Microsoft Office. So I would work on the Office. So all the Office updates, a little bubble that says you have an update. So
are you the guy that designed the paperclip?
No.
The paperclip?
Clippy.
Oh,
Clippy. Clippy. No, let's call him by his real name, right? So yeah, no, Clippy. Clip. So Clippy had such a bad rap.
Was that your idea?
We wouldn't make fun of Clippy within Microsoft. We'd make fun of Clippy. So that was So you can tell kind of where Clippy went. So yeah. So worked on Clippy for a few years, for a decade.
You suck. Let's end this live now.
Done. Yeah. No. Oops. Auto fail.
It's all your fault.
So went into real estate in 2013, just as the market was coming back, right? Just really catching fire in the Pacific Northwest, which is where I was. And, started doing everything. Craigslist marketing back in the day, at Google SEO, Google pay-per-click. I was always geeked out on these technologies, right? And I was an early marketer on Facebook, and I just got horrific results. It wasn't, I said, oh, Facebook doesn't work. Facebook is no good. I was one of those people, right?
One of those people.
Yeah, 100%. I own it, right? I thought that Facebook was just not, because you had Craigslist at that time. It was wide open. You could get a lot of people with lots of intent on other sites, and I just thought Facebook is not where it's at, right? The ad product was in its infancy, wasn't really there yet. So it was really just boosted posts was really the cool thing to do at that time. So, fast forward, I learned about the inside sales agent role, right? And I thought that was amazing. I thought it was awesome. I learned it through Keller Williams, which is still my brokerage up in the Pacific Northwest. Keller Williams, for those of you that know, is, they love models and systems and leverage and all these things that help you grow a team, grow a business. They go all in on those things. And I discovered ISA, and I said, hey, this is a great way to kind of build a team. And a lot of mega agents that came up during those years, like Lance Loken out of Houston, if people know some of those KW guys,
Yep.
Tim Heil out of Austin. I actually coached with Tim, when he did a lot of his Tim Heil, when he did his ISA classes through Maps.
Okay, did you go through what was his
leverage lead gen?
Yeah, leverage lead gen. But then what's the other one where he was traveling and doing like 2 or 3 day events?
Yeah. No, was it Real Estate Roundup or Tim's Real Estate? Something like
Real Estate Machine. That's what it was.
Real Estate Machine. Yeah, I didn't do that one. Never came to my ear. And when I went down to Austin, it was to talk to him, right, and meet his team and do like I was in the room. He had a company called Phone Animal. I think he still has that company.
He still has Phone Animal. They don't take on a lot of clients, and they do different than what you're doing.
Yeah. But when we started my company, it was, I was inspired. I'm going to call it inspired by Tim and his company, Phone Animal. I said, hey, I could do something like this. And the advantage that I felt I could do it in Mexico versus, having a US based team. He had a huge college town to recruit, kids into, like, hey, I got, a whole country I can recruit into. Right. So, I was 20, it must've been early 2015. And then, towards the end of 2015, we launched this company, PowerISA. We started with, a handful of ISAs working for my team in Seattle, other of my, friends and colleagues that I cajoled into doing this in Seattle. And, within 3 months, like, okay, this works, right? This is like, this is good.
You were up there by Ben Kinney.
Ben Kinney. Another
powerhouse, man. What's he, number 2 in Keller Williams?
Number one, he kind of fights with Lance Loken and Tim for number 1, 2, or 3, right? So it's like, so he's mega agent. I also met their ISA team, right? I actually almost got kicked out of one of his offices because he thought I was trying to recruit like one of his ISAs. I'm like, no, Ben, no, take it easy. So a lot of the KW people that did ISA work or did ISA coaching, I've either met them, coached with them, took their classes, took their training. And just really took the deep. I read books on ISA, which I think nobody does, reading books about ISA.
Which books?
I think the best one that I can recommend is one that's called Predictable Revenue, which isn't necessarily an ISA book. It's more like a business prospecting book.
Which one was it?
Predictable Revenue.
Oh, okay. Yep.
Revenue. Have you heard of that one? Yeah.
Yep.
So it describes the SDR in tech terms. It's called the SDR model, which is essentially like an ISA, right?
Right.
A prospecting person that doesn't necessarily close deals. It just gets people in the pipeline for the closers, right? So I took a deep dive in all that material, and I said, hey, ISA can really work. We did a pilot with my team in Seattle and other folks, and it worked. And we were just doing Circle Prospect, right? We weren't doing expired FISBOs, inbound leads, just straight up calling the phone book. And the results were really awesome.
Were you guys using Cole Realty to get the data?
We were using Cole, Mojo, but we ended up using Cole everywhere because it's the one that's like available everywhere, right?
Yeah, I'm trying to think.
At the beginning, we did more.
LexisNexis is the other one, but like it's like a government, and if you get caught using it for like advertising purposes,
we tried to use it, but the kind of disclosures you had to sign, like, someone's tried to use this, right? So I didn't, and I heard other mega agents were using it, and then suddenly they kind of locked it down, right? So
I know a couple of them, like they were sharing their logins with a couple of people, and like they shut it all down because they're like, nope, I'm keeping this data. Nobody knows.
No, when LexisNexis found out that I was in real estate and found out I was Keller Williams, they're like, whoa! Like now you just sign the 30-page disclosure instead of the 1 page.
Exactly.
So so I never tried it, but I heard great things about it. It was really, really good data. And so we had to use other sources, and we started that way. Circle prospecting, calling the phone book 8 hours a day, getting 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 seller nurtures, all over the place.
So you were kind of taking on Tim Heil's model then with the
100%. That's how we started.
Going into nurtures.
We started the company just doing nurtures. Everything else, as the team got more experienced, as I got more experienced, in training them and teaching them, as we hired in better coaches, we started doing, because I never did expired and for sale by owner calling, right? So I couldn't, it's not something I could teach. As we got more expertise and taught the team, we took on first for sale by owners, because there were just more of them available. Then we even went up to expireds, right? Which is the toughest kind of call you can ever make, especially in a lot of these
those are my bread and butter, man. I love these.
Exactly. And as the market was getting hotter and hotter in the country, those were getting more and more valuable, right? Because there was just less of them every day, right? So we did all that kind of fun stuff, and we started to grow the company. We even started working for other real estate companies, like tech companies, like some of the smart targeting companies, some of the lead gen companies. They would create teams with us. So we grew really quickly. One of the ways that I grew the company initially was doing paid to pitch. I did that, paid to pitch, right? So when I saw that in your group, I'm like, okay, these guys know what they're talking about, right? That was one of my first posts that I like, hey, I've done this. This is how I started someone was like trash talking paid to pitch or something like that. That's really hard to do and it doesn't work. And I'm like, man, I started a company with paid to pitch, right? And I literally taught at 14 market centers across all over the West Coast, Washington, Oregon, California. Anyone that would let me in the door, I would go and teach a class, right? So, and that's how I got my first, 10, 15, 20 clients, right? And it wasn't an inexpensive service, right? To start out was like a $5,000 to $10,000 commitment. Sign it up, and it wasn't paid up front. I want to say I don't pay up front, but they signed up for a $10,000 commitment typically, right? So,
awesome.
So how do you find some of these agents? You look for them, and you look everywhere, for these kind of mega agents. And so paid to pitch was awesome. And again, to get those 14 market centers to invite me, I had to message, call, and email like 50 market centers, or I can't remember at this point.
That's a great rate of conversion. Conversion rate.
Even that. Well, I would always leverage the last class. Well, I taught at this market center, so I taught at Ben Kinney's market center, so I got a lot of mileage out of that. Right?
When you've got one of them, it's much easier to start.
Especially when you throw out the big names.
Yeah.
Yes. And these are all Keller Williams market centers. They all know each other, right?
So
if your class is any good, they're going to go, hey, Gus knows what he's talking about. He's a systems guy, process guy. He can probably help you out with that, right? And so I brought a unique skill set to this world. I'm an organizer.
Just really quickly, Gus, just for anybody that's watching, because there's a lot of new viewers here. There's probably some students as well, but for anybody that's watching, that when you say paid to pitch, the idea. So paid to pitch was an old masterclass that we did, which taught you how to do events for real estate agents. So you were applying the same concept. So the idea here is to go into an office, provide value in terms of providing training, and then pitching them your services at the end of it in front of a group of 30, 40, 100 agents. And that's how you built your company.
Let's welcome everybody who's here right now, because we've got a lot of people watching. So Olivia, Joel, Chris, thank you guys all for being here. Cameron, Alina, Emiliano, Jake, Ellen, Pat, Scott. Thank you guys all for being here. And let us know.
Those people.
What's that?
I already mentioned all those people.
I was doing the chat bot. Sorry. Well, now you're overappreciated, so that's a good thing. So let us know. Are you currently using an ISA team? And Angel's here as well. Thanks for being here, Angel. You know what, everybody, if you're here live, hashtag live. If you're here for the replay, hashtag replay. But are you currently using an ISA in your business? If you're an agent, or for your clients, if you're a marketer, are you currently using an ISA team? And what kind of questions do you have for Gus about ISAs and whatnot?
So just really quickly, let's talk about, I think the whole idea of, inside sales agent for the marketers, or for anybody that's doing lead generation, all that, this is relatively new, right? Because when I was doing this 3 years ago, there was no mention of this at all. Now this is like, everybody's talking about it, right?
Well, can I address, because what you just said,
you can interrupt.
I know, but I want to address this because you just said something that was really kind of caught me. This is new to marketers.
Yeah.
This is 7 years ago new to real estate agents. 7 years ago is when we started seeing the rise of the ISA. It was about 2012 was when I was just getting into the business and everybody's making a big deal about it, right? So as marketers, if you don't know about ISAs, you need to educate yourself fast, because this is stuff that has been known in the real estate industry for quite a while. And it's something great to offer your clients. It's something that is really awesome for retention. But like I said, Shane was talking about just hearing about this a couple of years ago. And it's true. Like a lot of the marketers that don't come from the real estate side of the business have not heard about this.
So let's talk about the challenge a little bit here, Matt. In terms of marketers getting clients, generating leads for their clients, what we typically see, and some of the challenges and problems that we see with some of the clients, and then talk about why you'd use an inside sales agent or an inside sales agent services like Gus is providing here through PowerISA.
All right, before I answer that, someone says, how do you compare to agentology? It's not even comparable. Gus is way up here and agentology is like,
come on, badmouth your competition, Gus. This is your
so I don't like to talk about the competition, so I'll be diplomatic and I'll say I think we do different things. And
yeah, Gus's team converts.
Yeah, exactly, right. So when we started this company, agentology is probably still is the gorilla in the room, right? A much larger company, venture backed, San Diego based. I don't know if I can say this, but I coached with one of their former biz dev people. So I know a lot about the company actually. I honestly believe we do different things. They were built on the model of speed to lead, right? Speed to lead, immediate response, for realtor.com style leads, Zillow.com style leads that are very hot, very motivated, very expensive leads, that you gotta just boom blast into and let me show you that home. When can I meet you to open the door, right? And I think I'm gonna be really honest. I think they do a really good job in that scenario of speed to lead, immediate response, beat the other Zillow agents, beat the other realtor.com agents, and book that showing, right? The challenge, for a company like agentology is as the market shifts away from those kinds of leads, which is shifting, right? Zillow is moving to a different model. Realtor.com is moving to a different model because the whole world is changing. They're bringing a lot of that services in-house because they want to get that margin, right? They want that value. They want that part for them. As the market shifts to other sources like Facebook, I feel that a company like us provides a different service and can add a ton more value to folks doing, Facebook lead generation, for example. We do more customization. We've got longer and more intensive campaigns because Facebook leads tend to be higher up in the funnel than a realtor.com lead, right? They also cost 90% less than a realtor.com lead. So I feel that we're better positioned for that. That's my diplomatic answer to that question.
So, and the other
so
thing,
much nice. So much nice.
The other thing too is, agentology is obviously a much larger company. They're venture backed and so on. So they have their processes and procedures in place. Much harder for them to pivot from one thing to the next, right? 100%. Where a company like yours, 100%. you can focus on and change things as you continue to build your services. They're also very dependent on their software platform as well. I mean, I'll give it to agentology. They got a great platform. It looks good. It's easy to follow your leads. They suck. I'll say it. I've sent a lot of leads to agentology, and they were one of the worst I've ever used. And the worst part about it is just having them, communicating with them and trying to get them to change. And Matt's had some bad experiences with them as well. So
I've never been able to get them to work. I've never been able to get them to convert the stuff that we were working with. And I mean, I've tried Google, I've tried Bing, I've tried Facebook, I've tried numerous different types of lead sources. So it's not like it's something that can't convert, because as I built out our in-house ISA team, they were able to take care of it, right? But for whatever reason, I don't know if they see my name and they don't like me or what, but for whatever reason, I feel like every time I've used them, it has just not gone well at all. So I can't recommend. The hardest part is I hear from other people that they had great luck with XYZ. And I'm just like, okay, well, maybe it just doesn't work for me. But
That's what I figured too.
Gus's systems have worked for us, so
Yeah.
I'm very happy with it.
That's exactly what happened the last time when we tried them the last time, right? We were talking to another marketer that was using them, and we're struggling with another service that we were using. And so it's like, okay, let's give Agentology another try, right? We negotiated with them for over a month, trying to get their pricing down. And then we're like, okay, let's fire off 200, 300 leads to them. And it was like, I just couldn't believe what we were getting back from them. But
yeah.
And just the lack of conversion. And like, how's anybody else making this work? This is crazy. And maybe it's just because, the different campaigns that we're running. I mean, that's the other thing too.
What services are you guys currently using? If you're watching right now and you're using an ISA service, what are you currently using? There's only a few of them. So just let us know who it is. I'm curious personally, like, who are you using and have you had good results? Because I honestly, like, until we started using Gus, our results were like, they were so sporadic. That was the hardest part. Like, if we didn't use in-house our own teams, it was rough.
So Joel here says, using another ISC team, but onboarded with Gus's team for our first client this week. Great experience so far. So way to go, Gus. Joel's part of our student program. Olivia says here, she's just about to switch over one of her clients to your team. That's awesome. And then we got Pat here. Pat, what's going on? Good to see you. Thanks for joining. Pat's a good friend here from back home. And he says, Gustavo, does your ISA team do mainly live calls or is it a text-based service?
So great question. So we do both. So we do, and I guess the main difference between us and a lot of the other services, like a PowerISA, like a lot of the other, bot or text message services, is that we do a lot of calling. Calling is a big part of what we do, and we realize that that's the main value add that we have, right? That's it really sets us apart, even from a company like Agentology, where they'll do less touches, and from what former clients have told us, the minimal amount of calling possible, right? And if leads come in after hours, they won't get called at all, right? So it just kind of depends on, if you're lucky, you get a bunch of calls. If you're not lucky, you don't get anything. So I think that's where we set apart. We have different plans, different follow-up plans. Our basic bread and butter, the one we started with, is 15 touches, call, text, and email, and we split it up evenly. And why do we do that? Just seemed like a good idea. Now, we didn't have like a bunch of research and a bunch of data to back it up. Now we do, but we started with that. Let's give it an even try. 5 calls, 5 texts, 5 emails. 3 touches within the first 5 minutes, and then several touches, the other 10, 12 touches across the next 10 days. So to give people an immediate try and get them to convert, and then give it up to 10 days. For other kinds of leads, like a Realtor.com or a Zillow, we do 15 touches in 5 days. So we go super hard on them because it's another type of lead and it's another kind of a follow-up plan. But for our Facebook leads, we would do hard initially and then kind of taper off to give them a chance to kind of take a breath. So we do all of those things. But not all of those activities have the same value is what we discovered, right? We evenly split calling, texting, and emailing, kind of assuming that, hey, we'll catch, more people that way. And the results have been a little bit different, but you will convert people in all 3 ways. You will. It's just, where do you want to put the emphasis on, and where can a company like us add the most value is kind of where we've come to, and a lot of it has been through, what we learned in the beta group, right? I joined this group as a student, right? First I joined the big group, and then I said, a buddy of mine, Steve Goltiao, said, "Hey man, you got to jump into the beta group. That's the really good group." And I'm like, I looked it up. Hey, that's $1,000. Whoa, this must be good, right? This is not bad.
That's one way to look at it. I like that way of looking at it.
No, and again, not so much that it's pricey, but smart people were saying good things about it, so I'm always willing to try stuff. So I jumped in and I took the deep dive. This is, I think, back in January or something, right? January, February timeframe. And I took the deep dive because I could see the signs that the industry is moving to Facebook, right? The early adopters have been on Facebook for years, but the tipping point happened last year. I'm not sure when. I don't know if you guys saw this or you guys have seen this, but I felt that everyone and their mom now wants to be on Facebook. And I said, okay, great. I need to learn what this is. Because I remember me, 2013 guy, I said, Facebook doesn't work, right? That was me. That was Gustavo. So I said, okay, well, then maybe this does work, right? What's happened? And, I took the deep dive. I took you guys' classes. I saw the videos. And the videos, the content is good, but the amazing learnings happen from what the people post in those groups, right? The gold, right? The content, and not the, content's great. But the
Better
really,
not bash the content on this show.
yeah, I know. Content is good, but the
That's not what we're paying
relationships.
you for, Gus.
And yeah, I know. Seriously, I know. Hey, don't take the check back. So the interactions in that beta group, in that private student group, just people, they open up the kimono, right? It's like everyone talks about everything, and that's the kind of culture that I come from. Keller Williams.
Open the kimono.
Oh yeah, I know. You like that? That's a good.
That does it every
Drawing,
day.
you're drawing quite vivid pictures there, Gus.
It's a special food.
I should have worn one, right, to make it more, straight. But I come from that culture in Keller Williams, where Keller Williams, and I'm not sure, maybe this is everywhere, but Keller Williams is the culture of the top agents, the mega agents have to tell you their secret sauce.
Pretty
It's
much.
like they do it, right? They do it, and it's always a good chunk of it is always going to be free, and then if you want one-on-one coaching, they upsell you. But the content, like the class, was free. It was always free. Right.
Yeah.
And all at these Keller Williams, like Congress, events and conventions, Gary Keller would interview them and spill the beans. Now, how do you do this? How do you do that? Tell everybody. Right. And there was a big culture of that. And that's really hard to do. Right. That kind of a culture is very difficult to create. Because I'm a member of a lot of these Facebook groups, right? The Facebook marketing groups, real estate groups, and it's really difficult. The more specialized you get with the different kinds of agencies and vendors, it's hard for people to be honest and share stuff. And you guys, kudos to you guys, you've created a group where people feel very comfortable and they feel very safe to share. Hey guys, this is not working. That's the best. That's supposed to love to see. This is not working. How do I fix this? And then when the original poster is nice enough to update it 3 days later, hey, this worked, right? That is amazing. That is amazing. And you just don't see that on the level that I see in your group. So now it's my turn to interview you guys. How did you create that culture and that environment to tell people that it was okay to do that? I mean, because that's not normal. What happened?
Man, that's a great question. I think before we go there, though, let's acknowledge some of the questions. We've got
We're not sharing our
questions.
sauce. That's an extra $5,000.
We got a ton of questions and answers in here. We will. What was it? It was the culture and what?
How do you guys create that culture of environment of letting people, openly share their failings? Successes are easy to share. Successes I can see everywhere on Facebook, but the non-success, right? And you guys, you guys do participate, but there's a lot of advocates for you guys in there, right? There's a lot of advocates that do this, jump in, answer those questions now. And I used to think, are these guys paid? Is this like are they admins in the group? Are they like, do they get a cut of these things? And
we give Matt's cut away.
Yeah, it's been rough.
Yeah, so
My last bottle
that's
of
not
wine
the
for the
case.
month.
That's not the case. So, anyways, my question is, was that intentional, or did it surprise you guys as much as it surprised me? That's the question. But anyways, we can talk to.
Okay, we'll get there. I asked a little bit ago, who is everybody using? We've got quite a few different companies that people are using with mixed results, and most of the mix is on the rough side. So I think, Gus, you're probably going to have quite a few calls after this.
Yeah. Bring it on. Bring it on.
Make sure you guys mention the REMCM code there for that one.
Yeah, definitely. Because actually, you want me to talk about that? Because we're doing a special deal for members of the group.
First,
I want you to take advantage of.
We got 40 people here watching, guys. If you are watching, we got 9 likes, hearts, and laughs combined. We have 40 people. If you're not liking this, go away. But if you are, hit the like button or the love button or the laugh button or the wow button or something.
Here's mine. Mine came in. Mine finally came in.
There you go. We just hit 11. Okay, come on. I know we can do better. We can break 15. No, I'm just kidding. Not for real. If you guys watching
Olivia
live,
says no more money for your go-karts there, Matt.
What's that?
No more money for your go-karts.
Oh, that would be bad because they always need work. I'm learning.
There we go.
They always need work. I thought I was bought ready to go, and they're not. So, anyways, but for real, if you guys are watching live, #live. If you're watching the replay, #replay. We got a bunch of people who have jumped in on the second announcement for the chatbot spam, and you're welcome. But for real, it sounds like people are having a lot of problems with their ISA companies. So my next question, tell us a little bit about the problems you're currently having with the ISA companies that you are using. And then in the meantime, Shane and I will respond a little bit to Gus's question.
Yeah.
Well,
So
I know
go.
the answer to that. I mean, the answer's I think it's really simple.
Yeah.
I think it's something that we noticed. It's something that I noticed when I started the Marketing Pros So for anybody that doesn't know, like I was one of the founders of the Marketing Pros, which is the other big group that we used to have. And then Matt and I started this group. You know, people follow suit with, you know, it's like you're leading by example, right? So if you're involved and sharing and part of the community, then the rest of the community shares with you, right? I don't know if it's why, but it just seems to happen. You know, you know, we're pretty open in both groups, but of course more so in the private group, where it's like, okay, hey, we built up this campaign. This is what we're getting. These are the, you know, the results we're getting. This is exactly what the ad looks like. This is what we're doing. What are you guys doing? You know, and then everybody's like, you know, posting their ads and,
yeah, there's been some of that were like surprised me. It was so forthcoming.
Yeah, and I think we've done a good job too of you know, educating, like a lot of the people that are part of the private group, like you're getting some people in there, you know, where they're starting with nothing, but now they've got 20 clients, right? Or they've got 10 clients, or they've got 100 clients. And so, you know, these people tend to understand, you know, that like that scarcity mindset's not there, right? It's like there's so much business out there available to everybody. You know, I've been doing this for 3 years. Matt's been doing this for, you know, a while as well. Now we're still signing clients, right? Like we're still, yeah, there's competition, but we're still signing clients. So there's no, you know,
I mean, we gave our last three, like,
yeah, we gave away a lot.
We gave them away in the student group.
Not the last 3 clients we had, but the last 3 leads that we got, we gave them away to some of the students inside the group. One of them, you know, signed up a $3,000 client from one of the leads that we got. It's just, you know, like, and I think, you know, doing that has allowed us to like create this really open environment inside the private group. But I really think it's just us being part of that and just, you know, making sure that we're in there and answering the questions and, you know, posting when we can. And then when we do have ads that are successful, then we post about it. When we have some that don't work, we post about it. And then other people will follow suit, you know.
Yeah.
It is, you know, the private group is a really nice community where people.
Well, and I think one of the other things is we have so many people that just jump in and they answer the questions, and like I'll jump in and I'll look and I'll be like, okay, they answered it right. Like, what do you want? You want me to do the little this? You want me to put that GIF up or GIF up or whatever you call it because you got it right? So it's funny how quick the responses come in because I see them. Like I'll be working on stuff and then I'll go back and I'll check. And when I see the responses, I try to get, and it's all of a sudden it's like there's 3 answers and every one of them is like right, and you're like, okay, like that's good. Like if Shane doesn't beat me to it, one of the other people in here that has clients and that is growing their business will beat me to it almost every time. It seems like so. It's been a lot of fun to see how people have kind of, as they've learned, been so eager to give back, and not willing, but eager to give back and help the other people in there.
Yeah, it's a virtuous cycle. But I was curious because I think you're, and it makes sense, right? It's always, the answer is always, it starts with leadership, right? You know, you know, do the founders, are they legit, and do they, you know, walk the walk and talk the talk? I think it always, whether we're talking about teams, businesses, Facebook groups, does the leadership, you know, reflect what they want to see? And I love that. I love to hear that because and you're right. You know, I do see you guys, you know, doing that and contributing and setting the example, and it's caught on. It's like, you know, it's like, hey, this thing has a mind of its own. You see people doing live streams in the group and talking. You know, I love seeing, you know, Gary Gray. Shout out to Gary. You know, he's at an event today. He's going to catch us on the replay. #replay, Gary.
He just showed up and said, "I love all you humans." Actually,
from his network event. Well, cheers, brother. Cheers at that event. You know, Matthew Manganau, another guy that, man, it's just like, these guys are really good at this, right? Like, holy
like Matthew got into, like, he went through his whole buyer event campaign, you know, and what's working, what's not. And
live stream. This is, and these are, I mean, I'm almost 40, right? So these are kids to me, right? Like, here these guys are like 18, 19 years old, and I'm like, you know, if I had the guts and the maturity that they are showing at a 19, you know, I'd be somewhere else. I'd be Bill Gates. I'd be running Microsoft instead of, you know, working for Microsoft. But it's an impressive group. It's an impressive group, and the fact you've been able to attract that talent is really interesting. So I guess what you're saying is I should make a group for all the ISA agencies so we can level up all these guys, right? That's what.
Absolutely.
That would be something. Actually, there are some really great ISA groups. So if you're not in them, let me know. I can get channel.
We'll do. I'm in a few. But yeah, I guess I'm in the Keller Williams ones. I guess I'm kind of stuck in that role.
Yeah, Anna Kruger has a really, really good ISA.
I love that one. That's the map.
Okay.
The maps coach, right? Yeah, that one is by far the less salesy. More
ISA Mastermind Group. Yep.
The closest thing I can see to your group is that, and it's way far away, but it's good. It's a good group.
Yeah, ISA Mastermind Group. That's what it's called.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. Any other questions from the fans?
Yeah, we got
distracted. Sorry. Well, let's talk a little bit then about, I don't know if there's any other questions here. I was scanning here a little bit earlier, then I got distracted by this one about your go-karts here.
Travis giving me a hard time. I was like, what? These things are fun, man. No, but for real. Okay, so we got some questions, or not questions, but we got some problems that people are running into with the ISA stuff. Okay, so I was curious, Gus, what do you guys do to kind of handle this sort of stuff? Because here's what we're running into.
Yeah.
Not getting the results I expected, nor are they following up within 5 minutes like they say, more like 2 hours. What is your response time? Not the advertised. What's your real response time? If it's different, I guess.
So we measure this, really, really closely because the team is bonused on that, making sure. So just so you guys know, we measure. There's two main metrics. Like overall, there's a lot of smaller metrics, but the big metrics we measure for the whole. We have a team bonus, right? If the team achieves this across the board, then they get an additional team bonus every month. So
that sounds
one
familiar.
Of them is I know. Well, on-time response, right? On-time response and conversion rate. On-time response and conversion rate. And, I'm happy to say they make that on-time. The on-time response is the easy one, right? Because they always want to make sure that, and I can get into the math behind this, but essentially you've got to be able to handle any one of those requests coming in. And you have to have enough people, because anytime you start getting 2 or 3 leads per minute, and every one of the, and we have an average call time, handle time that we have. So anytime your leads per minute starts exceeding your ability to do the call handle time, then you need another seat. Another person has to be available in the chair. So, I'm an engineer, so I love geeking out on this stuff. So, but I think it's pretty boring. But the thing is, how do you keep that promise? You plan for it. And you have software. Software is there to help you to do this, right? So I'm not going to say I'm a wizard, but we want to make sure that as soon as leads come in, we shoot that text message off immediately, and someone's on the phone within a minute, 2 minutes, right? That's the goal. And I think the average time we have, I think average is going to be about 3.5 minutes, maybe 4.
Okay.
But we always try, and improve and beat that and get better at that. And do even more. So within our calling time, which is going to be up to 9 p.m. your local time, we will meet that 5-minute goal and exceed it. Pretty consistently, right? And if you ever see, again, we publish this data. We publish 100% of what we see and what we do is visible to you at what time, that the call went out. If any of our leads are not meeting that, we're going to be transparent, right, with you. If for whatever reason, this has happened, right? We will miss leads that'll be out of that 5-minute time frame. If it's called out to us, you obviously don't get charged for that lead, even if it turns into an appointment, right? Because that is part of the commitment that we have and the promise the company has. Wow. But how do you achieve it? You plan for it, put systems in place, software in place to make it happen.
Yeah, well, you do everything you can on your part.
100%.
Angel says, do you do white labeling? Where can I find more info? If you guys want more info on this, comment more info down below, and we're going to get to that shortly if you guys are interested.
Maybe not. Or we can just talk about,
move on.
Talk about, go-karts if you want.
Right there we go. No, but also if you haven't liked and hearted and wowed and laughed and all that stuff on the little engagement thing, do that. Come on now. Also, let's see here. Olivia says, join the family of beta kids. I know somebody said that. Was it Gary said that? And it's kind of just been
stuck around.
Joel says the student group is legit. One of the best investments I've ever made in my business. Daniel says, I think Gus is going to get flooded with new business after this Whiskey Thursday. Yeah. Hey, you use W2.
The hug of death. The Shane Group hug of death. Oh no, right?
Yeah.
Well, it's funny because we actually talked about this, right? And we've been, you and I talked about it, and I told you, once we go live here in the bigger group, you need to be prepared. Make sure your calendar is well set up so that you can actually attend these appointments. So
absolutely.
Talk about it. Yeah.
Done. Taken care of.
Olivia says, indeed, we share everything with each other and what's working and what's not working, new tricks and tips. Absolutely. I think the only thing that we haven't shared yet is this new seller solution thing that we're working on, but that's because it's not finished in testing, but it will be shortly, and then we'll go from there. You're spending our hard-earned money on stupid Travis. He says, JK, they're rad. He says, just don't go dying on me. Olivia says, not calling immediately, using wrong script, and calling from a number that is not local is an issue she has had with ISAs in the past.
Yikes.
Daniels have an issue with not good results with prospecting and booking appointments. Joel says not calling immediately is a huge problem. I've been told now that they wait until until the evening to call because they get more people on the phone. Yes, the notes say about 99% voicemails. Wow. I don't know who you're using, Joel, but I would find somebody else.
We know.
I'm sure it's not Gus. But
so for that specific issue, so the real answer is you do both.
Yeah,
That's
exactly. When somebody tries to tell you you don't do speed to lead, you just do calls when people are typically home, it's because they're understaffed.
Probably right. Yeah, exactly. So the real answer, so that's why you have to do multiple calls on that first day, because if they come earlier in the day, you do immediate, and if they're busy, maybe they won't pick up, and you do the later call later in the day if they come in earlier to get that evening, a little bit of that evening chunk. So the answer is I agree with that company, but the answer is you do both.
Yeah. So as far as using the wrong script and calling from a number that's not local, Gus, what do you do about that kind of stuff?
Yeah, so software helps us solve that problem, right? So we're able to kind of match, so like a specific campaign has a number attached to it, and so I can say with a lot of confidence we've never had the wrong phone number thing happen, because software solves that problem, right? Systems and software solve that problem. The wrong script, so like a foreclosure lead and you say the wrong script on the phone, that again, software is supposed to help you with that issue and help you solve.
Oh yeah, and you're using a system where basically if you're outbound calling, you got that local number, right?
100% has to. The phone calls have to 100,000% come from a local number. Otherwise, your connection rate is going to be ridiculously low.
Yeah.
So something that's also just for people that are not part of the program or the student program, or even people that are part of that program, one thing that's really awesome here about this relationship with PowerISA and is that you know all the campaigns and the scripts that go with the ones that we teach inside of the program, and you've adapted some of those to your own scripts, so that you can convert some of these more difficult campains that typical ISAs or agents would have a hard time converting. We've talked with Matt. We've made sure that what you're doing actually works, and we're seeing the results from that, which is really cool about your company. Is you can adapt. You've been able to customize some stuff and work with us, making sure that whatever campaigns we are teaching, they're also working with your services.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think the most successful and the trickiest campaign that we've gotten from you guys is that foreclosure list campaign, right? Yeah. That one takes some skill. That one is not a need. I can definitely see how solo agents can really struggle with that, right? They can really struggle with that because from the statistics that we have, 2 out of every 10 of those leads that come in are going to want to talk to someone right away, right? They want to talk, they want immediate follow-up. But if the agent talks through person 1 through 8, they're going to say this is garbage, this is no good. No, I hate it. They're not picking up, right? They're not picking up, or when they pick up, they don't want to work with me, or they're only looking for foreclosure property, or I talked to an unqualified buyer. They must all be unqualified because it has this foreclosure list, text. So, I can speak with authority because I'm literally running. I am the agency for one of my clients, a good friend of mine in Washington State. Mm-hmm. And the guy's like, it's like crack. He's like, where did you learn this? Right? He's like, holy cow. Because he's a large team owner, he's a business owner, and he understands math, right? He goes, this is the best campaign he's ever seen. And it's a number. He understands that it's a numbers game, right? He's at a level for his team. He's looking for lead flow. That's what he wants. He wants a lot of numbers, a lot of leads, and some of them are going to be top of the funnel, some are going to be middle, some are going to be bottom. But he wants to get them into his machine because they have a lead conversion machine, right? That will, if they don't get them this month, we'll get them next month, 6 months from now, a year from now, 2 years from now. So when they approach it with that kind of a mindset, and they see the results you can get using an ad like the foreclosure list ad, it's like their eyes open up and go, this is amazing. This is amazing, right? Like unbelievable. So we're doing Facebook. So he's the only person I'm doing. Don't worry, agency owners. Is the only guy I'm doing Facebook ads for. I'm not looking to get into that biz, but I wanted to do it, right? I wanted to actually get my hands in there and go, what do you guys go through when you sell this campaign?
That's awesome, though. That's awesome. Right? Because I don't think a lot of the ISA companies out there are going to do anything even close to that to understand what we go through as marketers. They're only working with agents for the most part.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I love that you did that.
Yeah. So, I always approach this kind of stuff with curiosity. I jumped in, I did it. And, it's like, hey, I started at like $6 a lead. Now I'm at 322, baby. 322. Right. Which is literally,
and where you're at, less, that's right? That's a good
it
result.
It's like, are you kidding me? In Seattle,
it's a good result.
Freaking amazing. It's amazing.
And I'm always shocked at how expensive Washington leads are.
They are 100%.
There's a couple places 100%. That you're like, what?
Yeah. It's like LA, right? Some parts of of Seattle. So but the results are amazing, and for agency owners, for the people talking to agents and trying to pitch something like foreclosure, I can totally understand. I have empathy for the agent saying, "Whoa, I don't want to touch that. What do you mean foreclosure? No, that's not what I want to do." And you need to kind of tell them you want to fill your pipeline with as many potential buyers as possible. Because guess what? 25, 30, 35% of these folks are going to be homeowners. That's one, right? That's important for them to know. Even if they want to be looking for a foreclosure property or a great deal, they have a home to sell, and you really want to tell them why you're awesome on the listing side as well. And you want to get them and tell that story. How are you going to tell that story? Get them in your pipeline. Get them in your pipeline and talk to them about that. So if people understand that you get these people in your pipeline and it's a process to convert them, you take that hot 20% off the top, that 80% is where your 10x return is going to be, right? That's where you get your 10x return, and you have to have some kind of system in place to make sure you're converting all those leads as well, which is how we arrived to the new plan that we developed with you guys, right? That, okay, great. Our company started out as a speed to lead in instant response company, but we're thanks to you guys and the way we've been working, we are now becoming we're saying, okay, it's not just going to be one and done, but we're going to try and convert those leads over the long haul, right? Some of them are not going to, 20% we can get across the board. We're very confident, especially with a foreclosure ad, we can definitely get 20% of them right away. But the long tail of these leads, the ones we don't even get to talk to for those first 2 weeks, let's try and talk to them, right? Let's get them on the 8th, 9th, 10th try, 12th try, 15th try, 20th try, 25th try. We can offer that service, and I think we can add a ton of value, right? So one of the new features we're releasing is our 12-month follow-up program, right? We didn't have that. That didn't exist, until, a few weeks ago. So we're offering that to folks, we're offering that product to everyone, but we're offering it to this group at a unbelievably good price, right? So that's a big advantage of being part of this community. It's going to be huge. And there's another feature we're also releasing, which is appointment rescue, right? So the number one issue that we hear for not just Facebook, across the board, is that when leads don't attend these appointments, we set appointments, leads don't attend, right? So, and there's a lot of strategies you can do to try and make those appointments stickier, to try and make those appointments get rescheduled, get rekindled, recontacted. So we're going to include that in our 26 touch, 12-month follow-up program. We're going to include appointment rescue in that as well. Trying to call the person after the appointment's been booked. Call in. How did that appointment go, Matt? Oh, interesting. Oh, you weren't able to make it. Oh, you know what? Well, maybe you were busy. Understandable. Let me reschedule that for you. When's a good time? When do you think you'll actually be able to make it? Great, awesome. Let's get that on the calendar. Let's try and do that. Also, maybe the lead was, and this has happened more times than I like to admit. We talked to leads, and the agent didn't show up. Right? I was ready. Nobody called me. Nobody. Guys would be surprised how often that happens. And this happened even with my own clients, right? That I brought into the company. Like, what are you guys doing, right? And agents that I know, right? That I know that I'm able to call out and go, someone on your team's not making their calls, man. They're just not making their calls. So you're able to, all that information is valuable, right? Whether the person flaked out, whether the agent wasn't available at that time, all that stuff is important and it's definitely available. So both of those things, the 12-month follow-up and the appointment rescue, is things that we feel that is going to really increase the value for agencies and marketers, and it's part of the stuff we're including in this new package.
So this is huge, guys. If you got loving this, hit the like button here, because this is big. Again, 12 months of follow-ups. Like, this is you picking up the phone calling those
Daniel's got it.
for
Daniel's
12
got it.
months.
Hashtag give us the goods.
Hashtag give us the goods. And like Gus said here, he's put together a special package for people that are part of the REMCM team or group members here. And then we're going to do a little something inside of the, oops, sorry guys.
Out of the beta. Yep. Now, Olivia was
I'll be right
saying-
back. I'll be right back, guys.
You're good. Olivia was saying that she actually submitted herself as a lead to one of these companies that she's using and didn't get a call for 2.5 hours, and they used the wrong script. Granted, she did go through the script well, but it was the wrong one, including the wrong number.
Yeah, and so I always tell actually, and that's a great Olivia. It was great that you did that, because that's what we try to teach our teams, that you can be talking to the owner, the client.
Oh my
right?
gosh, yeah.
At any time, it's very easy to do that, right? It's very easy to do that, and so that's a smart thing to do, to go in and inspect what you expect, right?
Inspect what you expect. That's a quote I haven't heard in a while, but I love it because it's so true.
100%.
Trust but verify.
Trust but verify. So yeah, and even me at the level that I'm at, we're a pretty large company now. This week I made time. I'm very busy. I made time to sit down with our brand new hires and role play with them. Right? It was 30 minutes in the whole week. We have people to do that, but I jumped in and they go, hey, what kind of people are we hiring? Right? What kind of people? Because now the company's large enough where we hire and fire people that I don't even know who they are. Right? Like, hey, who's this person? So I always try and again, inspect what you expect, right? Go in and just make sure, are people sounding good? Are they sounding pleasant on the phone? Would I like to have a conversation with them? That they have to be able to pass that test, because that always helps, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And when I'm going to ask you something in a second here, but real quick, somebody says, do you do mainly live calls or text-based?
Mainly live calls or text. Well, our traditional plan was split between 5 calls, 5 texts, and 5 emails. So it was evenly split between the 3. This new plan is 26 calls. It starts with 2 immediate calls the first day, and then calls once a day for the next 3 days.
Let's get into that one in a second here when we go through the whole package.
Oh, okay, perfect.
Let's see. Have you ever found any certain cities that convert easier than others?
The answer is yes. But again, and we don't have definitive, reasons. We have hypothesis, right? For example, and San Antonio, Texas, right, has been like San Antonio, Texas, Lubbock, Texas, San Antonio, some of the medium-sized cities. We theorize that you've got people that pick up the phone more, right? You've got people that maybe have there's more prevalence of landlines versus cell phones. A certain demographic, a certain age group is there. There's definitely cities where where that'll over across the board. Again, not one agent, not one client, but across the board, you'll see higher connection rates in some cities. All these things are real. However, it's things that the agents can't control. If San Antonio does better than Houston, am I going to move to San Antonio? No, don't. Find a way. Find what works in Houston.
Right.
You can't really control it as an agent, but those things are real. That's true. You are going to have areas where the connection rate is going to be higher. And Matt, I mean, you must have seen this. You were working in different areas, for your mega team. Different areas are going to connect at a different rate. Just the connection rate is different.
Cities. Different cities made a big like you got multiple cities in a zip code. You'd see one city that converts right here, one city that converts right here, one that like converts well but doesn't show up. Like, I mean, you saw all sorts of weird stuff when you went through the numbers.
Absolutely.
The stats don't lie.
Yeah, the stats don't lie. And when you have enough data, you can draw some conclusions. You can theorize on what the reasons are, the causes of those things. But at the end of the day, it's you got to work with what you have. And I don't think we've seen an area that the connection rate is so low that we can't do business there. But definitely the area has changed. But I've theorized there's definitely a correlation between lower connection rate and like price point for some areas, right? Yeah. It can correlate high. There can be a high correlation on low connection rate, high price point. What does that mean? That you get less leads. However, they are worth a lot more, right? Their price points are higher. So in some areas it can just balance out. So I wouldn't stress too much about that. No,
I wouldn't either. Let's see. So using the foreclosure campaign, they told me most of the leads will be looking for foreclosures. I was like, what script are you using? The script you should be using. That's kind of funny. Gary says, my client got a 400K buyer lead who's also a seller from Gus's ISA. Awesome, Gary. Love to hear that. Travis says, I have lie detection software running, scanning your face. So you better be telling the truth here or we will know. I am telling the truth. The go-karts are a blast. Gary says, also by the beta program. Let's see here. Join us in the Beta Kids exclusive winners circle. Let's see. More info. People are excited. Gary again says, Shannon Matt's course has made me at least 15K in the past 3 months. Dude, I'm excited. I'm excited to hear that. Travis, it's PS. I just signed up with you guys. I don't know what you're referencing. All right. Olivia says, Joel, yep, tried to reach out to them about it and get no response. Gus is incredibly helpful and responsive. Awesome. Joel says, I found somebody better than Matt Kramer. We've got one client onboarded with Gus, another one to do, and likely switching the client we have on the other company over to Gus's team as well. Fantastic. Joel, I've been trying to get a hold of someone since Monday and have not gotten any response back. Okay. Which I believe you're referring to that other ISA company. Christian says, would you be able to call realtors if we put together a pay to pitch event, or do you specifically only work with realtor leads? That's a great question.
Oh, can you repeat that question? I didn't catch it.
Yeah, we were going through them fast.
Yeah.
Would you be able to call realtors if we put a paid to pitch event together, or do you specifically work with real estate buyer and seller leads?
Oh, okay. So yeah, no, good question. So within our company, we're an ISA company, right? So our speed to lead, inbound lead response service, that is one part of the company. Another part of our company is when we actually, provide specific we call it dedicated ISAs for projects. And one of a good chunk of what we're doing is recruiting agents, marketing to agents, inviting them to like live events, inviting them to different kinds of events. But the recruiting one is the biggest one, right? Because that's brokerages do that all day, every day. So we do have some experience, talking to agents, inviting them. What I would caution people against is making it, because getting your dedicated ISAs is a bigger investment. It's definitely, it goes into the thousands of dollars. I would not do it with a single event in mind. It's not cost effective. I would do it as a campaign, right? Get someone, in the chair or somewhere to jump in and help you prospect and get clients, get invited to events, invited to multiple things, like a recruiting campaign. Recruiting campaigns, you're not going to get on the phone with a real estate agent and recruit them over the phone. It doesn't work that way. You talk to them, you pitch the product, you pitch the service, you invite them to an event. Next month, you do the same thing over again. You invite them to a different event. Next month, you call them with another script. So it's a process. Recruiting agents takes up to 15, 20 touches, right? To recruit a new real estate agent into it. But, but it's worth it, right? The numbers work out for these brokerages because they make money by recruiting agents 100%. So I would take the long, if you're going to do something like that, kind of take the long-term vision on how you want to do it on a specific area and have multiple events, multiple things you can invite people to. When we would do events, when I would do paid to pitch events in a market center, I would rely on the market center to promote it. I would. I didn't do a bunch of promotion in like Portland, Oregon. I mean, I'm not going to, I didn't run a Facebook ad or an ISA to promote an event. I would just rely on the brokerage being a legit brokerage and providing quality content to agents. And in some market centers, you'd get 50 agents attending because they would hold it right after their team meeting and they'd all be in there and I'd bring like donuts and boom, everyone's there. And in some market centers, I'm not joking, 2 people would show up, right? I'm like, whoa, this is like, you can tell which market centers have the culture and the education down and which ones struggle with that, right off the bat. So, try and find an area that has a good culture, that has, a learning-based culture, and you'll have a class in there and people will just go, right? And you have to win over the broker, the team manager, the office manager. You have to kind of pitch to them and tell them why your class is valuable, and they'll bring you in. If it's a good person and they care about the team, they'll bring in quality content for them.
Agreed. We have one more question, then we'll get to the announcement as far as what we're sharing or offering. Is that right? I was like, what is the word I'm looking for? What about? Anyways, question: what's your objection handler for the agents who say it's too much per lead for the additional ISA cost, and the ones that say they just rather do it themselves? So, price is too much money, and I can do it myself. Do you know any of the objection handlers that your team is using right now for those?
Yeah. So, well, my team doesn't sell the Facebook services, but it faces objection all the time, right?
Yeah.
We can face objection all the time. So typically, the pricing objection is the same as when they say it's too much for the Facebook ads. Themselves. It's the same objection. It doesn't change, right? So you're really telling them about, hey, it's this is the package. And as agency owners, you should structure your services as certain packages. As you get more clients and you get more pro, you're not going to do whatever the client wants. You're going to say, hey, client, This is what works, right?
Yeah.
Having 12 months of follow-up is going to get you the best return on your investment, right? And not having that follow-up is going to set, and again, you'll learn this, not having any kind of follow-up system in place is going to set you up for failure, right? That's the reality, and that's something you need to tell the client.
So true.
I would tailor this to the agent you're talking to. If it's an agent like, someone that has in-house ISA support, someone that has, some kind of service helping them already, then I get it. You don't need that. Let's give you another kind of package. But if someone's saying that it's too expensive, they can't afford it, I would challenge them and I say, you really can't afford to have this not work in the next 6 to 12 months, right? And
That's
the way
so
you're going to
true.
do that is having the systems and the follow-up in place. If it's a solo agent or a small team, they 100,000% need this, 100,000%, because they are not. So this is what's going to happen. They're going to get overwhelmed with leads. They're going to call some of them, not all of them, and not going to call them multiple times and consistently. They're going to get a few bad conversations where people are not interested, they can't reach them, they're unqualified, and they're going to assume that that's very small sample size represents everyone you're sending them, right? And guess what? It might represent, 80% of the people you're sending them, and they're going to miss the 20% that they need to talk to immediately to be able to convert them into leads in the next 30, 60, 90 days, right? They're going to miss out on that 20% because they're going to get lost in the fog. And this is going to happen. This is a thing. This is real. So you got to be able to preempt that and tell them if you don't get some kind of follow-up system in place, your chances of succeeding are very low. And again, if this person is a monster at follow-up, they're amazing. They're going to have the same problem happen on a different scale, right? They're going to get they're going to get busy and like, man, don't give me more leads. I'm already busy. No, man, you get 100. If your ad spend can give them 100 leads, 120, 150, stopping that makes no sense, right? Stopping that makes no sense. Have them get our service and have our service start at 5 p.m. local time.
Right.
Boom.
Well,
end of
boom.
problem solved. Right, 5 p.m. local time and over the weekends. So we're doing lead response from 5 p.m. to 9 a.m. and all day, Saturday and Sunday, and maybe we start there, right? Have us start with the overage, the extra leads that they can't get to, and then we'll learn more of that business, for them. But even if you're, again, that's rare, guys. Having someone that's a monster at follow up and consistent and it's just very rare. I can tell you from experience, it's not really going to happen. But I would pitch it in a way that the same way you pitch your own services. This is how we're successful. If you want to be successful, you need this, right? And saying you can't afford it, that's too expensive, is you're shortchanging yourself and you're selling it short and you're trying to cut corners and get the same result, and you won't. You got to be able to be honest with them and set expectations that unless they have some kind of consistent follow-up system that's going to work for 12 months, they shouldn't expect a great return on this investment. And you have to be upfront and honest with them about that.
Makes sense. All right. I think everybody in the back is going, pricing and packages. So.
Okay, good. Great. So yeah, I go, right? This is my time. Yeah, do it. Okay, good.
All right, whatever you want. Yeah.
Yeah. So our typical package that we have, 5 texts, 5 emails, and 5 phone calls. That's what we've been doing for the last, year and a half. Selling that product. That's a $5, a piece lead per lead, $5 per lead, and includes those 15 touches, right? 5 of which are phone calls. This new package we're going to be releasing into the wild. It'll be on our website officially like tomorrow or the day after, and we'll be publishing it as our call intensive plan. We'll be doing texting, but the main feature is going to be 26 phone calls across the 12 months. It starts with 2 phone calls the first day, then a call a day the next 3 days, then a call every other day, and then a call every other week, then a call it stops at every other week and then goes monthly, and then it goes on for 12 months, right? So we feel it's going to give the maximum amount of conversion ability, maximum amount of engagement, because we ran the numbers on this. This is not we're not assuming, we're not hoping this is going to work. When we did our 5 call, 5 text, 5 email plan, we hoped that would work, right? I'll be honest with you. That's what we started. We copied, what Agentology was doing, and we added, 30% more, right? So we said, hey, this should work. Doing the statistics on this, we understand of the engaged leads, 80% are going to come from phone calls. If you're doing all 3, 80% of the results are going to come from the phone calls. 20% are going to come from the text messages, near 20%. So we're going to definitely, this also includes texting. but 1% or less is going to come from email, right? That's the reality. This is 2019 real estate technology, real estate marketing. Email is almost insignificant. It's almost insignificant. The marketers like us have crowded out email. Email's dead, right? I'm not going to say email's dead, but it takes a long time to really get a result from email. And for real estate, it does get responses, it does get appointments, but the amount of it gets versus the effort is very low. We'd rather do more phone calls. If phone calls get 80% of the results, with 5 phone calls, we're getting 80% of these results. If we bump it up to 26 calls, I'm pretty sure if we run these numbers a year from now, it's going to be 95% of the conversion.
We also, Matt and I also know, just based on experience, even what we're seeing now with clients that have been around for 6 months to a year, we see a lot of the conversions on month 4, month 5, month 6, and on, right? And if you can continue to engage with them, they may not be ready. Or in fact, we have so many of them. And just because I watch my wife really closely, right? She does all her own call follow-ups. I watch what she does really closely. And of course, she doesn't obviously represent everybody out there, but it's a good example of what we do see with other clients as well. But like, you can call 6 or 7 times, that person will never answer the phone, and then all of a sudden on like call number 8 they pick up, or call 10 they pick up, right? And I think part of the issue is, it just kind of like, it goes back to not making enough phone calls, right? So I think this is a really good solution, and it doesn't mean that text messages don't work. I mean, we know that email, because the response rates are really low on emails should really just be used as a nurturing type of thing, just staying in the inbox and keeping that agent in front of people, just in a different, and it's easy to set up and it's free, right? So but definitely, we're seeing conversions that are much higher at the conversion rates with phone calls.
Yeah, and I think it's important because I think a lot of the, some people can say, yeah, it's 2019, people don't like phone calls, they don't prefer them, they prefer texting. A lot of the millennials, they prefer texting, and I'm not arguing against that, right? I am absolutely not arguing against that. I'm pretty sure people do prefer, some people do prefer texting, but doesn't mean that it's the most effective at converting. It doesn't mean that, right? Having a conversation with another person has been, and probably always will be, the most effective way to do any kind of marketing and sales, right? Having a direct conversation. Face-to-face is the best. Phone call is going to be probably the second best. Text message for now is a distant third. It should be part of any follow-up plan, even if you roll your own. If you're doing your own follow-up plan, that's power to you. That's great. Definitely, you've got to include both calling and texting. And when you do calling, like we said earlier, it's 2 things. It is speed to lead. It is instant response, but it's the consistency and the long-term calling as well. It's both of those things. I don't think you should settle for one versus the other. If you have both, we've seen that you're going to get a much better result. You're going to get a good chunk of those appointments that first day or so. Yes, you will. You absolutely will. The low-hanging fruit. But if you have a system to follow up with everyone, you're going to get that 10x return if you get the most out of the leads you've already bought. I would even pitch it to agents that way. Having this long-term response service is going to give you more return on the leads you've already paid for. You've already bought these leads. Are you getting the most? Do you feel you're going to get the most out of them if you're only calling them once or twice or 3 times or 10 times? If you're only calling them 10 times, do you think you're going to get the most out of it, or 26 times? Which do you think is going to get you the better return on your investment? You should do the longer-term plan.
Agreed.
Awesome. Yeah.
We have a question, or I'm sorry, not a question.
Oh, you know what? I didn't do pricing. Wait, hold on. That was my preamble to the price. Sorry. So
preamble to the price. All right, here we go.
Yeah, that was the long form.
Hashtag let's hear it.
Let's hear it. So yeah, so it was 5 calls, 5 texts, 5 emails for $5. This 26 touch plan, we're going to retail sell it for $7 per lead. $7 per lead includes in the next year of follow-ups and conversion. But for your guys' group, REMCM, we're going to do a special pricing package, and we're going to offer it to you guys at that same $5 price. So cue the confetti, the ticker tape. Where's that? Right?
I know. I'm sitting here like,
amazing.
How do I
now? You must buy now in the next 30 minutes. No, not really. So we have a landing page set up for this group that I'd love you guys to use, so you can take advantage of this deal. Make sure you use that special landing page.
I'm going to throw that link right now.
Can you pin it, Shane? Did you figure the pinning the comment thing out?
Yeah, man. Hey, and I just wanted to, I just want to remind people that If anybody has used Agentology for the past 2 years or so, one of the things that they've done is they've adjusted their pricing as time goes on. So, but the cool thing is that typically when you buy into this kind of stuff and you get to know, you're talking to the CEO here and you get to know them and you're bringing on clients and stuff like that, you typically get grandfathered in to the original pricing. So new clients that are coming up and things like that. So this, like, I think it's too cheap personally. I think eventually you'll probably realize that, okay, you know what? We could probably get away with $7 a lead.
So
people are like pulling out their credit card, like Gus, are you done yet? Are you done yet?
Yeah, that's true. That's true. And Shane, and that's true. That's natural. That's normal for any business. Even the agencies, guys, you're going to start charging $500 a client, and in a year you'll be charging $1,500 a client. This is just knowing your value and charging what the market will bear. I guarantee you will do the same. However, like Shane said, get grandfather yourself in, get a campaign in there, get your foot in the door, and get this deal, lock it in, because of course, nothing's going to stay the same price forever.
Yeah, I'm posting that now.
Okay, we've got a lot of people saying, take my credit card right now. Shut up and take my money.
Please.
So let's get that link going. Because that is a crazy deal. And before Gus sobers up, let's make sure we take advantage of that.
Seriously. So and we've got an extra special something for the folks in the beta group. We'll talk about. I guess we'll talk about that there.
Yeah, we'll talk about that.
Okay.
An extra, little gravy on that to get you guys excited about it. Absolutely.
Cool.
Right, throw this link in here now. The other thing too, I just want to mention is there's only so much time in the day. You're going, like, anybody that goes to your landing page, fills in the calendar, you're basically talking to them. So something to remind people.
It is me and my team. So I did bulk up, and I've trained the rest, because there's 4 other people that work with me on sales. Because I've taken this journey on my own, right? And sometimes people might get the impression that Gus does everything in the company. The last 6 months, I've taken the deep dive with this group and gone through everything. But just to be honest, I do have staff, right? I have leverage. I have staff. You will get maybe another salesperson talking to you. That's normal. But I've been training them based on what I've learned from you guys and this community, right? So that's where I'm coming from.
And we do have a couple of important questions that came in. Gus, I signed up just a couple of days ago with you for such and such. Can we apply this deal to that person?
No, it's too bad. You should have waited.
I should have waited for Whiskey Third. WT. So message me because there was people as we were finalizing this deal, we were getting people coming in from the group like, do I tell them? Do I not? I think the last few people that have signed up, we did apply this, the last couple of days. But if anyone feels like they should have gotten this deal and they didn't get this deal, message me directly, because my sales team's not gonna know what we're talking about. So message me directly, and we'll get that sorted out. We'll get it taken care of. If you're in the beta group, you'll get that deal. If you're in the big group, we'll get that deal. Let me know, and we'll make sure we'll make that adjustment. If you're not, most people are not on this plan, this 26 call intensive plan. Let's get you moved over, right? Let's get you moved over. If you like the 15 touch plan and it's going great for you, power to you, brother. It's cost the same. Take advantage. But if you want to try out this new plan, developed by Shane and Matt approved, I would do it, right? I would 100% do it. Try it out. Let's see what we can do for you. You're going to get better results, right? Get better results and longer term results.
So the other thing I wanted to mention, Gus, and we spoke about this earlier, was a competitive upgrade. So if you are using another ISA service that you're not happy with, and you want to jump into this, but there's costs associated, right, with moving from one system to another. They need to reach out to you, let you know that they're using another competitive product or competitive service, and you're going to help them out, make sure that transition is seamless.
Absolutely. And I definitely can make that commitment on that one. Definitely, message me directly as well. I definitely want to take care of folks that are, working with maybe another company that want to transition folks over. That's great. Let me know, and we'll definitely give you guys a special offer as well.
That's great. So just so everybody is aware of this, we are using Gus. I don't think we actually mentioned that. I think we've sent from July. I just looked at the stats from July 1st to the 11th. We sent in 251 leads to you. Sorry about that. I apologized earlier. I didn't realize.
I'm
up in that.
But
I think I was just like, yeah. So full stats on that one account that we sent into you, 780 leads. So that's what we tested out with Gus. So far, so good. I mean, things have been. I mean, part of it, yes, the conversion is one thing. One of the things that's been really nice of working with you, Gus, honestly, is just how responsive you are and how willing you are to fix, the issues as we're running into them. Little things, right? Like, I emailed you one day because I was noticing inconsistencies between your callers. Somebody would make notes about the call in one way, and then you'd have another one make notes a different way, right? And I remember
or filling out, making sure they put everything in Calendly, for example, right? There was someone in there, there was a certain person, I'm not going to name them, if they're watching this, they would not fill out their notes. No, Carlos, not Charles, it's Carlos. They weren't filling out the appointment in Calendly, right? That and any part of the process that isn't automatic always makes me cringe, because I wish that Calendly was tightly integrated to our system so that we wouldn't rely on the ISAs remembering. However, not everything's automated. So we want to make sure that that's done, and that's done through training, reminding people, training, getting them used to that. So yeah,
and people like us giving you the feedback, right? So, for people, marketers that are using you, and that's been the really great thing about working with you, is how responsive you are to the issues, right? It's like, hey, Gus, we're having this problem here. This is what we've noticed. You're like, no problem. I'm bringing this up to the team. And then, a week later, it's been resolved, right? So we're not having that issue anymore.
That's one of the advantages, that we have systems in place, right? We have staff, we have leverage, we have systems. I feel we have really, really great people, especially on our client success team, Sylvia, Samantha, a lot of folks that jump in and talk to our client. On our sales team, we've got Joe, we've got Danny, we've got, Chris. People, they love people, right? And most of them are former ISAs. Right. So they 100% understand the problem space, 100% understand what people go through. And now they're part of the client facing team. So they have empathy, they know how the system works. They understand it.
I posted that link and our viewership went down to 22.
Oh,
everybody jumped off.
What? They're selling stuff. We're out of here.
It's back up to 28.
I gotta hurry up is what they say. Is that good viewership? I never noticed how many people.
Actually, I think people probably went to go sign up for it really quickly.
Yeah, they probably left. Yeah, maybe they signed up and left Facebook, and that's what happened. So.
Probably.
Yeah. So
there's a couple of questions here. Does this come with the appointment rescue? We'll run through these real fast.
The 26 touch plan does. Okay, it does. Cool. The other plans, we're not going to include that. It just doesn't make sense to do it. We're going to focus on this plan. And this plan is designed for the agency owners, right?
Right, but you're giving them this plan for the same price as the other plan, so why wouldn't they go with this plan?
Well, it makes no sense. They have to, everyone should be, I would change everyone automatically, except that if some marketers, I understand maybe they don't want to change things. Maybe things are working out well. They've got some other solution in place. That's fine. But if you request it, we'll make that change within 24 hours. I fully expect my inbox to explode saying, move everyone to this new call intensive plan. We want call intensive, ASAP, and we're ready for that. Bring it on.
Are they going to use that same page for every time they have a new client they want to onboard?
This is just for getting them signed up. If they want to onboard clients, we have an onboarding form.
Okay, so this is for the questionnaire. This is just to get going to fill this out one time.
One time.
Okay.
Yeah.
Perfect.
The onboarding form that we already have, people should have a link to that. If not, email us. We'll send you that link. That's how you onboard additional ones. And just we do have like an onboarding setup fee, and that is one for the whole agency. So we go through everything really intensively, hold your hand one time, and then we teach you how to add stuff, semi-automatically, where you just, fill out this form, and then we're ready to go.
What's the onboarding process? Let's say I get a new client tomorrow. I want to get them started Monday. How realistic is that? Or is it a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks?
Great question. So, and actually I was just having a conversation with someone in the group today, this morning about that. So the main thing we want to do is we need an agreement. We typically talk to a salesperson, either talk to myself. I've set it up to where I talk to one out of every four appointments. You're going to get Gus probably, right? In that range. Otherwise you get someone else on my team. You get that sales call. We get your information. You tell us what you want. You got to mention you're with Shane's group, right? If you sign up on that landing page, we'll know what group you're from. But if you call into our calling number, let us know you're with Shane's group or you're in the part of the beta group.
Funny how Gus says you're in Shane's group.
Yeah, there we go. Oops, yeah. It's the easier name.
Anybody else interested in being the ISA we recommend?
Exactly. Now Matt's going to start his own ISA company. Thank you, Shane. Great job. So people come in and they're going to let us know. You have that sales call. We send you an agreement over email to sign. We send you an invoice also electronically. You can use PayPal. You can use ACH. You can use credit card, whatever you want.
Bitcoin?
I don't know. Maybe if PayPal takes them, maybe, but potentially. So you pay that initial invoice for that setup fee. And then you schedule a launch call. That's important. You have to schedule a launch call. Once we have that call and you fill out that onboarding form, both things have to happen, right? Because, we had someone in the group, have the call one day, filled out the form like 3, 4, 5 days later. And then then when both the call and the form happen, 3 days later, we launch your campaign. If one of those two is missing, we haven't started that clock yet, unfortunately.
Do
We're missing
Saturday and Sunday count towards that 3 days?
They don't. It's 3 business days. They don't. Because most of my staff is not working on all day. They only work part of a day Saturday and they don't work Sunday.
If they do everything right, the soonest they can get it running, if they sign a client on Monday, is Thursday. Is that right?
It's if you're on point, you're having that call right away, you're filling out that form right away, it's going to be a Monday to Thursday deal. Yes, correct.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Travis says Matt's group is all about go-karts. Travis, what is with all the go-kart hate?
Yeah, seriously.
Get a real car. the kind of car you drive in Detroit.
I'm feeling
I
very
got a Jeep. I don't need a car.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's kind of what that process is about. And we've put a lot of effort designing that process, making it scalable, making it reliable. I've been through the onboard.
This is a great question. Yeah. Sorry, guys. This is a great question from Olivia. Is the cost per lead a one-time purchase, or is it per month you're paying that $5 per lead?
That's a good question, because previously, right, with our old plans, we had a $1 a month, 12-month follow-up plan, right? Yeah. So we used to have. So I see where that confusion can come from. So this is a one-time fee. Right, the $7. I was going to say
I was like, what is he going to say at this? We didn't talk about this before. When we were talking. Don't say $5 a month. Don't say $5.
No. That'd be amazing. Yeah. But it's a one-time fee.
Gus is on vacation. Spending all his extra money.
Yeah. Say, wait, technical difficulty. We just lost Gus on the class. So it's a one-time fee. For retail, it'll be $7 for that one time. For the folks in this group, it'll be that discounted rate. But yeah, it's a one-time fee, and we're phasing out that other model. It was very confusing to folks. They never got it. They didn't understand it. They always had objections about it. It's just not the best way to do it.
Yeah, and this is it's cost effective, and you can make you'll be able to make this work. So it's definitely cost effective for the real estate.
And we're doing and we're doing this deal. So just so you guys know, we do have. Someone asked on the group earlier, do we have volume discounts? The answer is we do. So the reason we're discounting this so much for this group is we're treating, Matt and Shane's group as a volume agency, right? We're treating the group as a volume agency. So typically we do discounts when agencies bring us about 1,000 leads a month. We do a better pricing model. Well, we're assuming that this group is going to do that and even more. So we're doing the discount up front, right? So we're treating this as like the Matt and Shane agency that has hundreds of folks in it, and that's what we're doing. So we're giving you that volume discount.
Awesome. Another great question. Let's see. Well, here's a great reply. Thank you, Olivia. She says he's jealous. He's never been on a super fast go-kart. Those go-karts are scary, fun, and fast. Thank you, Olivia. But also, Olivia said, so the leads keep getting followed up with if they stop my services or yours, or how does that work? Let's say Olivia's working with a client. They have a falling out on month 3.
Oh, I see.
Are you still going to follow up with those leads for the next 9 months?
So the agreement that we have with folks says, once you've paid for that follow-up, we'll do it, right? Unless you tell us to stop.
Okay. I love it. So $5 you're followed up with for the year, whether you like it or if you don't.
If you might want to keep it there because, the agent, in some sense, the agent has also paid for that. Just depends how you structure that with your agent. But if everything stops when they stop, then it stops.
If you're a marketer, I'm looking at this right now going, okay, so 200 leads, $1,000, $600 for 200 leads, $3,000 package, $1,400 profit. Okay, it's not bad, you know.
Yeah,
Like
absolutely.
just thinking offhand, like the math, how that
You
works.
got to upsell that. Yeah, 100%. You've got to upsell that and include it in your packages and sell it as the highest performing package. The highest.
And go big, go big, go big. I will say this, like regardless of what ISA company you use, and I hope you use Gus, but regardless of which ISA company, hang on, where are you at in the, okay. And I hope you use Gus, I think should be right.
Nope. Other
Nope.
way. Other way.
And I hope you use Gus.
This is.
There we go.
Oh no! This is
No.
where I'm seeing. No, that's not working.
No.
As far as she was
Down,
right.
Gus, down.
Right? No, wait. For my
Oh,
anyway,
you're right.
anyway.
Hey, I'm looking at Facebook, and well, that's weird. Yeah, I hadn't seen
Okay.
that.
Anyways, I hope you do use Gus, but
Matt.
regardless, if you want to do well, fail more often. Sell 200, 300, 400 lead packages if you're using an ISA service. I'm serious, because the more you fail, the more you're going to have success. And so many people sell these 50 lead, 30 lead packages, and they send them to an ISA service. And ISA services are amazing, but they're not miracle workers. Okay. If you give them 30 leads and none of those 30 leads are moving, you are SOL. So give them 200, 300, 400 leads. That's what you do. That's how you make this work.
Yeah,
And
and
if
that's
you talk to
like
somebody who's having luck with,
yeah.
Oh,
Go
sorry.
look. I was just going to say, like, for people that haven't seen the post on my profile that I did earlier today, 18 appointments booked in 4 days, and that's from Gus's team doing that, and that's essentially us overwhelming, like basically generating as many leads as we possibly can.
Thank you, Shane.
You're welcome. You're,
High five.
Yeah, there
Let's
you
high
go.
five there.
Yes.
There you go.
I really appreciate you.
I don't know which way.
Yeah, it's going on. It's gone on too long. That's it's an indicator we've been in this box too long.
Gus is not even drinking.
I know I barely drink any wine, but whatever.
Yeah.
Where's the tequila, Gus? I was actually thinking you were gonna have some
I
tequila.
know, exactly. No, and there's like a local regional tequila that we have here. I should have brought next one. I would love to be back on your show sometime. One thing I would love to talk to you guys about, and I was talking to a couple agency owners this week.
Our address, you can send them tequila.
There we go. Thank you, Gift. I would love to at some point talk to you guys about scaling businesses, scaling the team, scaling the business, getting to, I started with 5 ISAs in the room. Now I have 50, and I was talking to a couple other agency owners, that are taking scaling seriously. And it is an unbelievable conversation to have and a great topic that I'd love to talk to you guys about at another date because we're out of time now. But it's an unbelievably interesting. I would love to, or maybe like a little panel, maybe have big agency owners talking about that and share some insights because if there's a certain set of skills that are gonna I'm gonna distract with this thing. There's a certain set of skills that will allow you to scale. There are a certain set of skills that will allow you to scale. One of them is what Matt just said: fail more, right? By offering more value to a better client. That's one skill. The other one is your ability to hire, train, and select great people. That's the other skill you're going to need.
Yeah.
Say it one more time. Hire what?
Hire, train, and manage great people.
Okay.
Hire, train, and manage. Got that? Yeah. Sound
That makes sense.
good over there? Yeah.
Exactly what we should do. Am I up or down? I think I'm down, right?
Oh, you're up there.
Yeah. So let me look at Facebook. Yeah, you're up in the corner there. You're right over there. What's going on?
No,
Shane?
other way, Gus.
Oh, you're right over there, Shane. What are you talking about, man?
Because it's different on Zoom, right? Like
It is different on Zoom. It is different on
yeah.
Zoom.
Yeah. Okay. But I'm up on
so-
top on Zoom, right?
Yes.
Yeah,
yes,
I am.
yes, you are.
Okay.
Olivia says it's like watching the Brady Bunch.
Yeah. So, anyways, but again, through what we just said, there's some nuggets in there. I promise you. The charging the right price to the right person and hiring the right people that's how you scale. In a nutshell. Done. There we go. We saved you Whiskey Thursday. That is how you're able to scale any business.
Another show. Yeah, and we don't have to do it next week.
Yeah, we're done, right? So
Yeah.
that's how you scale a business. If you guys ever want to talk about that, I'm very passionate about that topic. Hiring, creating culture. Creating culture is also going to help you scale as well, right?
Yeah.
Teaching people how you want the business to run and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah,
I love that topic.
I think it's a great topic for sure.
Love to chat with you guys.
Yeah.
No, agreed. Those are some great options. I think we'll have to do in the future because there's so many good things, and we're constantly trying to figure out something new. So that'll be
absolutely.
perfect. And when we can do this Brady Bunch thing, like that just works,
all day
right?
long. Hey.
Right?
All right, guys, let's wrap this up before we get a little too goofy and.
Yeah, this is we're going.
Komodos.
We hit the high point a little while ago, and this is all downhill now. So let's end it.
Sounds good. Well, listen, everybody that's been watching, thank you so much for joining us today. We still have 30 people, man. If you've been watching the whole time, #Trooper. We'd love to know who watched till the end. Gus, first of all, thank you so much for joining us here for 2 hours. Well, just under 2 hours or so, and great. I think this is a great opportunity for everybody, for you as a business, for us, with the student program, but definitely for everybody here in the group. Would you stop?
I try to keep a straight face with you. I'm trying my best.
Like I got to start over. Oh, anyways, but second, Gus. Yeah. Second thing, Gus, thank you so much for putting this package together really quickly too for the community here in the REMCM group. We really appreciate it, and I think people are going to get a ton of value out of this. This has been personally, since I've started this, working with real estate agents, 3 years ago, I built an ISA team. I remember how hard it was. That's how Matt and I met, and I didn't want to do it. Marketers don't want to do it, but we need the service. And we've been struggling ourselves to try to find a good service here. And we think that this is definitely something that's going to help people. And do quit. You know what? I'm going to boot Matt out. That's it. Everybody say goodbye to Matt.
You kicked out of Whiskey Thursday. So I appreciate it. Thanks for those words. Shane, I appreciate you guys have built something really awesome. It's a really, really good group. I'm glad to be a part of it and take it more active. I've been a part of it for a while, but I'm taking an even bigger role. I'm excited about it. And I'm very excited about scaling my business up to the level that it's needed to service all of your group, right? That's the next challenge for me. So love it.
Yeah, that's awesome. Matt, any final words?
Nope, that is it for me. Again, I think
either of us above you.
Well, I mean, Gus agreed with me. Shane, you already know. Like, if you guys want to do amazing at this,
Gus left. He was done with it.
No, I've got something in my eyes. I'm like, I'm
Gus, like,
offline. We're not flying.
I'm out of here.
No, but for real, you already. And you know what? Gus just messed it up when he went away, so I can't do it anymore. But anyways. Yeah, again, I can't tell you enough. Fail more, fail more, fail more, fail more, fail more, fail more, and you will succeed more. Like, seriously, Shane can attest to this.
That's the quote of the night. #fail more.
Travis says, Shane. What's up with Travis? I think Travis is drinking with us today. Says, Shane, I thought you and Matt met on Tinder.
Oh, man. Love it.
Awesome,
can we have
guys.
a Whiskey Thursday about scaling agencies? Sounds good to me. Let's get one. Let's do that. Let's get a bunch of whiskey, or not a bunch of whiskey. Well, let's get a bunch of whiskey, but let's also get a bunch of people who have scaled large agencies on there. It'd be fun.
Yeah, I think it'd be a good time. Little mastermind.
Yepers. So,
okay, well, guys,
cool.
Well, with that, that is it. Everybody that's been watching, thanks so much for joining us, and we will see. We will see you next week. Oh, before we go, next week, special announcement. Ooh, we got a special guest on next week. We'll probably post that in the group on Monday. So make sure to tune in next week. Matt, take it easy. Gus, see you later. Thanks again for joining us.
Thanks, everybody.
Sounds good, everybody.
So,
take care.
Yeah, just stick around here. I'm going to end the live and I can figure it out.
Yeah, I started crying there. There was too much. That was funny.